I love a good mod pack. More specifically, I love a mod pack that has a bunch of quests that I can achieve. And after having completed Project Hosen 3, the next mod pack that I was looking at was Skyfactory 4. I'm also on the side playing Pixelmon as well to give you guys weekly content because this shit took a lot of work. Skyfactory 4 is a skyblock mod pack. You basically land on this tree. It's a dirt tree and essentially you build from there. Every resource, every achievement, everything stems from this one tree. So, for the next 100 days, I try and get as many achievements as I possibly can in this mod pack. So grab your popcorn and witness me do, like, meh level of survival. And if you like, subscribe. I don't know, just here it is, 100 days. So on day 1, like I may or may not have mentioned in the intro, I landed on this dirt tree and proceeded to do what all Minecrafters do when they see a tree, they punch it. You punch a tree, you see a tree, you punch a tree, okay? Once I got to the dirt block, I quickly began building round. If any of the saplings dropped, I would be fucked. And that would be the end of this very intense 100 days. That is sarcasm. Do not take that seriously. The bulk of my day consisted of planting, twerking, and mining. The 3 things that keep you young and healthy in life. Once I felt I had enough materials, I then made a drying rack, placed some dirt acorns to dry, which ended up giving me petrified acorns, which completely makes sense. Once you wrap those around dirt sapling, it gives you petrified sapling. Also makes sense. We were making some progress, and I was somewhat confident going into day 2. Unfortunately, I didn't have any materials to make a bed. I just have dirt stuff and petrified stuff, which wasn't useful for sleeping purposes. So I had to work through the night. After an uneventful night of punching trees, I would have myself enough resources via petrified acorns and resins to make me some cobblestone. I would use 8 of those to make a furnace, and just before crafting that I made a crushing tub. This is going to help me get a lot of the stuff I need to continue on the Skyfactory 4 Advancements tab. My end goal, like I've said, is to get as many achievements as I possibly can. One of these achievements was creating a furnace slab. It's supposed to help save space, but it still takes up a block or something. Either way, I quickly reversed that just to get my regular furnace. I then cooked up some acorns as they are edible, and that was another achievement down. When I was done stuffing my face off of cooked acorns, I started jumping on the uncooked ones. I placed 8 petrified acorns into my crushing tub and started jumping. I just said that. Anyway, it gave me gravel acorns in return. After that, I made some dirt and jumped on it. Because, that's what we do now. And I got some bone meal. With both these things, you wrap it around one of the saplings, and I would have gravel sapling, bone sapling, and clay saplings towards the end. I don't actually remember making clay saplings, as in, I don't have the footage to show you, but I made it. Just trust me. I didn't cheat. That's not what I would do. And just like the night before, I would spend this night working. I made a bunch of resources so that I can get clay and make a clay bucket. And after jumping on 10 saplings, I was able to get some water, because that is how it works. I figured my next step would be building an infinite water source, 2 buckets of water, put it in a corner, boom, unlimited water. Because it felt like a good idea at the time. I then spent some time cooking clay to get bricks to make bonsai pots. These little things are going to make getting the resources from all the saplings that we have to gather a complete ease. Which I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I ended off the day 3 having made cottonwood sapling. This is going to drop a string so we can make a bed and finally get a good night's rest. But we didn't have a bed, so I would work through the night once again. Day 4 was a pretty light day. I jumped on some gravel acorns to get sand acorns because we like jumping on things. I wrapped that around a petrified sapling to get some sand sapling, and eventually would mine enough string to get us some wool and make ourselves a bed. It was daytime, so I couldn't sleep in it, but I did set spawn. Saplings in Skyfactory 4, if you haven't figured out already, is the key to survival and advancements. So it would be no surprise that washing a sand sapling would give us birch, and cooking that birch sapling would give us coal sapling. That's pretty much how I would end day 4. Even though I had a bed, I decided that it was worthy to work through the night just one more time. Entering day 5 with progress on my mind, I made some tin ember, some iron ember, and some grout. The grout would move me towards making a mini smeltery, which I would be able to melt the iron ember and tin ember to make a bunch more saplings, if you haven't guessed. The rest of the day was filled with gathering resources, but I did take a break for this night and decided to go to sleep. That was day 5. Day 6 was literally just spent expanding the base. I had a lot more resources and I just wanted to build out a little bit. But I was a little sloppy, because on day 7 I awoke to this. In no way, shape or form could you tell me that I was scared. I was 100% a champ. I didn't hide behind the tree or anything. I faced my enemies and I conquered them. Anyway, I needed more grout to make my mini smeltery and just worked on that and getting resources for the rest of day 7. Day 8, I had made some more iron amber, and because my smeltery wasn't ready, I cooked it in the furnace to make some ingots, which I would make a bucket and a cauldron with. I needed this cauldron to make some lava to fuel my smeltery. Regularly, the iron amber can give you 2 ingots, but if you cook it, you only get 1. And because I was in dire need for this material, I was okay to cook it just this once, in order to be able to get more in the future. Day 9, I had managed to make tin sapling, and at some point I did make iron sapling, but I wasn't filming again. You just have to believe me. I forget to press record sometimes. It happens to everyone. This leads me into day 10, which honestly, I could have forgot to record this part because I didn't do much. I just mined a bunch of trees and got some resources, but that was it. Yeah, the hardworking day, I guess you could, whatever. Day 11, I had set my sights on bonsai hoppers because bonsais were not enough. They were still far more work than I anticipated because, it was one click to mine some stuff, but I wanted the bonsais to do it by itself without me having to do anything. I wanted to be lazy, basically. But, the plan changed rather quickly, and instead I ended up making lapis and redstone sapling. I didn't have enough iron yet, so most of the day was just gathering materials. Day 12, I figured I'd make a really shitty farm for just no reason, and I planted some potatoes. I also made lead amber, so, there's that for progress. Because I couldn't stay up long enough and decided to sleep the night away, it was only on day 13 in which I made the lead sapling, the, useful part of this. Later on, I would make some gold amber, and wouldn't you know, I would also make the gold sapling. Day 14, I was met with a creeper, like day 7, but this time I took it down like a champ, because I wasn't afraid, and I didn't have to hide behind a tree. I went on to make my hoppers to start my automatic bonsai system, and look at it. It is what it is, because I'm not talking about this with you. I would change this in a couple days, but for now, I was satisfied with it, if you will. I no longer needed to manually cut down trees. I don't know if that came out correct, but what I did just say is, translation, I no longer needed to manually cut down trees. The rest of the day was mainly spent cleaning and stuff. That's my notes. Cleaning and stuff. The whole of day 15 was spent running around and doing random shit and expanding the base. Again, that's my notes. Day 16, I decided it was time to build my house. I would go on to search house builds just to get some level of inspiration, but because I am crap at building houses in this game, no amount of inspiration was going to help me out, so I decided to just wing it and see what I came up with. I would, to be honest, go on to use this house like 7 times, but it is an important fixture to have. I started looking inwards at my building capacity on a more serious note, which is a solid 2, I would devise. I lack, creativity and design and, ultimately any building skill, but I gave it the good old try and got to work, and would finish day 16 with a skeleton frame and a big ass door, my favourite part of the house. Day 17 I finished off the house stuff, which basically meant build a roof and wait until I have enough sand to make glass to give it windows. I'll get around to it one day, but today wasn't about to be that day. And just like that, I was overbuilding my house and set my sights on diamonds. But first that involved getting silver sapling, and with a couple minutes left to day 17, arguably day 18, I managed to get diamond saplings. On day 18, I gathered the relevant items to make a cobblestone generator. There is a quest to fill a double chest with cobblestone, and this is by far the easiest way to do it. It's also really easy to make, and looking at it now, I probably should have done this way earlier. The rest of the day, I honestly didn't do much. I made a paxel, a bunch of tinker stuff, and fat-fingered my keyboard and accidentally logged out. Were the Minecraft gods trying to tell me something? I would never know because I logged back in and went straight into day 19. I made a marketplace. That was it. Nothing else. I just made a marketplace, and then I met this guy. Day 20, I got my head back in the game and started working on a better storage system using crates. I thought that I could make them unlimited. Turns out I can't, and eventually would change this again much later. Note, filing cabinets is the way to go and much cheaper in the long run, so in the long run. So don't be like me. Just use filing cabinets. I also got a cow. Never end up naming him, so if you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comment section. And also, I don't know who he is anymore. You'll understand why a little later. And then we have day 21 to 27. It's always nice when you group days because you can use less footage to show what you have done, and yet I have no footage to show what I have done in these days because technical difficulty. See, I lost the footage. It was like not much was really done here anyway, to be honest. So I'm going to give you a slight reenactment and rundown with the shitty notes that I have. Day 21 to day 23 was spent working on storage system that we started in day 20, the one I would end up regretting and changing later on. Day 24 and 25, I converted the mini smeltery into an actual smeltery because I wanted to smelt way more than I was doing now. Day 26 to 27, I worked on getting the ingredients to make a cake that would take me to the Nether. And then I made the cake. I never went into the Nether though, because I still have yet to make armor. In vanilla Minecraft, diamond armor would have kept me a confident person, but I wanted to use the Tinker's armor table to make me something that would turn me into a god. Day 7 slightly haunted me, even though I was a champ. There's footage that might say otherwise. I needed to make sure nothing like that happened again, so OP armor was the way to go. I couldn't dwell too long in the past, in the realization that I had lost a chunk of days. So I logged back in and luckily could still give you the night of day 27. All was not lost. I made some slime saplings. Whatever. I swapped out the dirt in my bonsai pots for fertile soil, which would turn out to be just one of the many rookie moves that I made. To be honest, I should have done this ages ago, but most importantly, I should have skipped this step to make mulch. You see, I look at it here, but I don't actually commit. Mulch is really easy to make. The moment you have jungle sapling, you should make mulch. I changed this in a couple days to mulch, so it was just a colossal waste of time in this respect. I mean, I just fell short. I've played this before as well. I don't know. Meh is just meh. Day 28 I spent making a bunch of embers and smelting them. I also made a bunch of casts for the Tinker's mod, which would turn out to be a very tedious process, and I wanted to get that out the way now, then wait in the future. And, to no surprise, this would take up the entire day. Day 29, I decided to do the fatal flaw that I spoke about at the night of day 27 and change all the fertile soil that I just put in to mulch. Because, rookie. Day 30, I was working towards making my simple storage system. Another mistake that Actually, no, this one wasn't a mistake. The storage system needed quartz, and currently I had I could go into nether, but I wasn't sure enough in myself to do that, so I decided to make nether sapling. It takes insanely long to get 16 pieces of quartz, because that's how many I needed, but I decided that this was the route I was going for, because I would have instantly died in the nether. I also spent the rest of the day upgrading the height and space of my smeltery, and continuing to get as much materials as I could. Day 31 to 34. Nope, didn't lose the footage. I was just doing a lot of the same over these couple days. I started working on a mob farm for easy drops and an insane amount of XP eventually. There should be an info card to show you where I got this from, but if not, it'll be in the description. This is from a channel called Onlydraven. He does a bunch of Skyfactory full tutorials, and this is one of my favorites. I watched it ages ago, and I have been using it ever since. It's super effective, and it's very easy. I mean, the spikes might cost you a lot, but it's fine. You'll get it. Alongside doing this, I was also able to set up my armor, trying to kill 2 birds in 1 stone. I again was following this tutorial, but this time it was something that I read on Reddit. It gave me advice on the best Tinker's armor. You basically start with hard carbon at the cores, which is fairly easy to make. It's just diamond and coal. And then you use some lead trimmings and steel plates, which is also even easy to make. That's just iron and coal, to do the base form of armor. Day 35 to 37, I spent in between the nether and building my better storage system, or my simple storage system. I had made the cake, and now I had the armor and confidence to go there. However, as expected, I landed on this big ass obsidian platform and would need to build a bridge to get to some form of land, and that was basically what I spent these days doing. The random platforms in the sky are the absolutely worst part of cake travel, and yet I have no say in the matter, so building the bridge it was. On the trip back, I realized I had got enough quartz to make the relevant items to make the simple storage system that basically allows me to use a remote to access any storage box connected to it. So literally remote access. I also started gathering materials to make shipping crates, another mistake that I would regret. Eventually I would touch down on some land in the nether, and would start to find and gather cobalt and ardite, as I needed this to make my preferred tinker's weapon, the shuriken. And so we have day 38, where my notes were absolutely useless, and the footage I have didn't really tell me much about what I did. I started gathering the materials to make the Lost Cities cake, but for the rest of the day I'm gonna assume I was in the nether, like day 37. You see, the thing is, you tend to lose track of time in hell. On day 39, I would not only make the cake, but take a trip to the Lost Cities. And then I immediately went home because I forgot to bring cobblestone to make me the bridge because of the stupid ass obsidian platform placement in just the middle of the air. It's fine, I'll get over it. The Lost Cities in Skyfactory 4 is a very interesting place. In Project Hosen 3, it's a city. Because I was playing it in normal world, it's just a large city. In Skyfactory 4, it's domes, comprised of, I want to say, different biomes. But in one of those domes, you get these high-rise buildings, but we'll discuss that a little later. I spent the night of day 39 slaying the vicious mobs that had trapped me on the railway, with my cleaver in my hand. Cleaver? I don't know what to say. With my big ass sword in one hand and my shield. I don't know if I had a shield, to be honest. Either way, I was able to kill them without a sweat, even though there was kind of a sweat, because I did think I was going to die at some point. But I was able to kill them without dying, so there's that. I'm a warrior, a champ, a true champ this time. I didn't hide behind any trees, even though I wanted to. After running from dome to dome on day 40, I finally found the one I was looking for. Some of these buildings would have chests with items that I probably never looked at once I acquired them, and a bunch of mobs I was honestly no longer afraid to fight. I just wanted to explore and see what I could loot and kill whilst on this journey. Just take a little bit of me time. I decided before the day's end that I had enough fun and returned home to rest up for the days ahead. Day 41 and day 42, to be honest, was kind of blurred. Apparently, according to my notes, I made resins and stuff. Purple slime. Whatever the fuck that means. I have no footage to back it up, so you're just gonna have to take my word. 42 is blank. According to my notes, absolutely nothing happened on day 42. The footage does show a plastic setup. I can't remember at this point what I need the plastic for, but I had started the process to get it. I also set up this little shitty platform so mobs could spawn for reasons. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think I wanted to upgrade my Tinker's weapon, but 42 is blank. I did have footage of me making magma slime, so there's that. I think I win Minecraft, maybe. I didn't win Minecraft. There is 58 more days. Is that quick math? I don't know. It turned out that I needed the plastic to make a froster. Getting an OP armor set takes a little bit of work. You have to polish it and emboss it and modify it to truly make it great, and that is what I was working towards here. In order for me to get the sponges, I would need to make ice, and a froster was the easiest way to get it. If you put 3 pieces of ice in a hydrator with some dirt, you get sponges. Boom. This whole setup is pretty demanding on water, so I decided at this point that I did need to make an infinite water machine so I could do less work. I didn't want to run back and forth from the infinite water farm that I made. It was too much. By the end of the day, we would be very close to getting what we needed, but we're not there as yet. So, end to day 44. I had what I needed, and I was ready to polish up my armor pieces to get the highest toughness possible. Again, the Reddit post in the description will explain every step in depth. I think. It gives you every step. The rest of the day I spent transferring my mistake. Transferring the crates that held my bonsai stuff to the shipping crates. I would then go on to make some night slime, which is for embossing my armor. This gives me 2 extra hearts on each piece, so I'll have 8 extra hearts in total. Day 45 was a continuation for the OP armor journey. I needed to make some slime crystals. Slime crystals. And spent some time in the nether trying to find some magma slime, but then I quickly gave up because I couldn't find any and just figured I'd make it with some of the blaze rods I got from drops. The final mission of the night was to make some more casts because the OP armor journey does not stop 3 days in. There are multiple types of resistance armors, and the main components are casts and obsidian, so that's basically where my whole time was spent. Day 46, I was on a hunt for some more blaze rods. So here is me, in the nether, going on a kill spree. You might be able to spot me finding Ardite, which is a big plus, but in cutting this footage, I don't even know if I kept it in here. So let me know in the comment section if you spot it. I spent the time I had left of day 46 making Obsidian. Because armor. Oh my days, it's like the 5th armor upgrade day. I had enough blaze and made enough obsidian that I was able to basically become fire resistant. I didn't get up to much else because armor is taking over my life. Day 48, I took a trip to the Lost Cities to kill some pigs because I needed cooked pork. Even though it doesn't look like it, I did want to complete as many achievements as possible. My end goal for this mod pack is to get them all. So I was focused on making 2 specific saplings to finish off the Skyfactory for Advancements tab, donut and bacon saplings. These were relatively easy to get. I needed wheat for one and cooked pork for the other. Between day 49 and 52, to be honest, I was watching Charmed in the background, so I didn't really know what I did, but it looks like I set up some crates for the new saplings I made. Honestly, it seemed like a very lazy day. The next couple days, it looks like I would continue this process, adding more saplings to the setup. I had set out to make all the saplings available, and I had done a pretty good job. At this point, I think I had made copper, cobalt, ardite, and nickel. Getting all the saplings available is another achievement, and I was on my way to get it. I was running light on iron ember because I was running light on iron resins and acorns, but I realized that I could use a bunch of other resins to fill in, which helped me gather more materials for these stupid shipping crates. I also decided to make a yo-yo, which was another achievement I was after. I didn't really care about the materials, but it was a pretty neat device. By the end of this 4-day weekend, I had started the journey of the shuriken. I wanted to make this for a while, and I had planned to make it my main ranged weapon. I had made this in my PO3 world and in my first Skyfactory 4 experience, and I loved it. So I was gonna make it again here. The materials I chose to use were bone, menulin, which I don't know if I'm saying correctly, and paper. This was another item that could be upgraded, so I spent the night making more obsidian. And to be honest, I was sick of it. So on day 43, I made a very simple obsidian farm. Again, this is a tutorial I found from Onlydraven. The manual process was getting on my nerves, and I'm very thankful I did this now because I would need a lot of obsidian in the future, and this turned out to be a lifesaver. Day 54 was a pretty light day. I made a chest builder, and with that made a mega chest. Day 55, I basically cleaned up my base so that there would be no more loose chests around or anything around. I wanted to have access to every single item that I had made or thrown in the chest previously with my remote. Otherwise, what would be the point? In most journeys, I feel like there is a point of this array, a moment where you feel like everything you are doing isn't going to pan out in the grand idea that you have, and that was day 56-57. I felt like I had lost what my objectives were at this point, and for some reason I didn't feel like I was working towards anything great because I didn't feel like anything I did was doing that well. Obviously, I had in the back of my mind to complete any achievements and all achievements that I could as quickly as possible, but not in a speedrunning fashion. I still wanted to be able to learn, build, and grow. And where I do sometimes suggest that I am a terrible Minecraft player, I'm not the worst in the world, but in this moment, I felt like nothing I was doing was good, this wouldn't be a series worth watching, and that I should axe the entire thing. So on these days, it was just me running around trying to figure out what to do and where to do it and how to start doing it. It wasn't days of clarity. And even though I felt that way, on day 58, I decided to move on. I didn't want to quit. I had done 58 days worth of survival. I was closer to the finish line than I was to the start. So I decided on day 58 to do something really simple. I went to the Nether and I was going to start exploring the fortresses to find charms. Now I could build these charms myself, but I know they're basically free, so why would I do that? Alongside those charms, I knew in the Nether chest you can get cake upgrades. There's 2 in particular. One is going to upgrade your inventory so that when you press the E button or the E button and your inventory pops up, You can then have a crafting table suited to you, and you can have, I think, 16 extra slots of inventory. Both of these cakes are craftable, but again, if I can get it for free, why wouldn't I just do that? And so I set sail to the Nether, and with the Minecraft gods on my side, the first chest I came across had everything I wanted in that specific moment. The air charm and the crafting cake. Obviously I would want the inventory cake, but we'd get that later on. Right now I was just happy to find the simpler ones. With that said and done, I was satisfied with this one chest that I had. I still wanted to explore most of the fortress to get some other stuff, but I had run out of torches and I couldn't see in the night. My next armor objective would be night vision because, you know, the armor upgrades never stop. On day 59, I got back to my achievement grind. Something about being in hell gave me clarity, so I removed the pressure of wanting to look good, picked an advancement, and aimed to accomplish it. After browsing for a while, I settled for all the trees, something I had touched on but not committed to, and for the rest of the day, I got to work. On day 16, my note said that I accomplished all the trees, but when I was looking through the footage, I couldn't find any proof or so, you know, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I also started upgrading to the next mulch. It gets a little techie, you're gonna start needing machines and stuff, but I managed to get yellow, I think. That's what my note says, so we're gonna go with that. So I spent the morning of day 61 doing little stuff here and there. I ended up making the experience pylon, the last piece of my mob farm, and this would actually come to help me out when I needed to put essence in a bucket. Just having experience there to back you up is always a good thing, and whilst you're running around doing random stuff, you're going to be able to go there and just give yourself a bunch of levels, so it's pretty OP to have. I spent the majority of days after that working on the deep mob mod pack, so that I can make glitch armor, that being my end goal and also being the achievement. This time though, instead of watching a tutorial, I decided to use what I remember from playing this game and read the book that is craftable in-game. In order to charge up some of the mob discs and things, I would need a bunch of materials that would craft together and give me what you know what, I was reading the book and I was just, you know, doing what it told me to do. That's basically it. I can't remember specifics. There's some discs, you fight mobs, it adds up, and then boom, you're in trial. I don't know. I honestly don't. Day 64 to 65, I took the next steps for deep mob, and that was setting up the trial area. That's something I briefly touched upon, but didn't really, because none of what I just said made sense. The simple premise for this whole system is that you make a key, tune it to a mob, and then start a trial fight thing, like an arena. Eventually, when you do this with the same mob over and over, the trials get harder, and you face off with the glitch, which is going to enable you to make glitch ingots, which is going to enable you to make the glitch armor. I spent so many days doing this that I felt like it was a tedious process and decided to give up on day 66 and go back to find some other advancements to grind. I started picking off the simple ones, the sprinkler system. I got the diagonal fence and figured out how it works, and I ended the day by making the end cake. So naturally, on day 67, I went to the end. I wasn't worried about fighting a dragon because I knew they didn't have a dragon in this end. It was a very simple one where I could visit the castle, see that there was an elytra available, but not go and get it because, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of lazy. And most importantly, could say that I finished the game 100% just on a technical basis. And then we move into day 68. I have no idea what I did. It was another case where I skimmed the footage and still had no idea what I did. But here is some sped up footage. You can tell me what I did. You don't win nothing but a pinned comment if you choose to. Day 69. I wanted to continue exploring the Nether Tower, but obviously I couldn't see in the dark. So before setting off, I worked on making night vision goggles. Since I didn't have any modifier slots available on my armor, I decided that I would hug a cactus to level it up, which is my preferred way of getting damage. Why die when you could just hug a cactus? With everything leveled up, I added on my modifiers. I could see in the dark, was 75% unbreakable, and was back in the Nether looking for a chest, so I wouldn't have to make a heart or an inventory cake. And luckily, I found one, and had one to go. My work on day 70 revolved the deep mod advancements again. I decided to, go back to it. I needed to make the glitch armor, but first I needed glitch odds, which meant I needed to defeat the glitch. So I spent most of the day doing trials and ended the day crafting the glitch armor and giving it a little display. Cause I was kind of proud of it. I'm also just gonna say glitch a couple more times to say glitch a couple more times. I feel like I've said glitch like 7 times. Just gonna keep saying glitch. Anyway, day 71, I spent upgrading an area for my cow. Remember when I said I couldn't remember where my cow was? I started to add more cows to this little area, and yeah, I don't know what the OG cow is, but still, give me a name. I'm gonna put it on one of them. Next to this little area that I had expanded upon, I decided to upgrade the farm area as well. It went from a terrible 3x3 to whatever the outcome looks now. I planted some more stuff that I would rarely use, but aesthetics. On day 72, I woke with a purpose. Out of the 8 tabs, I think it is, I was about to finish another one. I started with the ender upgrades. You can grind amber to get relevant dust, so this was actually really easy. The next step, it was to make some nuclear craft machine upgrades. This is quite easy as long as you have a manufacturer at hand. We need to crush obsidian and quartz and then just craft the upgrades we need. While I was waiting, I attempted to upgrade the generator. I was using this only to find out that I already upgraded it, so it's just a slow moment that you guys were able to witness. I'm not sure why it took me so long to realize, but this is visual footage that I was losing my mind. Anyway, with the materials at hand, I had crafted the last advancement for the tab. With that accomplished, I was ready to look for the next task. Except I decided to expand my base on day 73. I decided that my machines would fit better in their own dedicated area and started to move the few machines I had over there. Between me and you, I did nothing productive on day 73. Day 74, I wanted to make a electrolytic. Why does that sound wrong? An electrolytic separator. I feel like that's definitely wrong. But I needed some materials, I think. Anyway, most of my day was spent hugging a cactus because armor journey never really stops, but also working a grindstone. The materials that I needed was dust of gold and stuff like that. But I ended up making the machine by the end of the night, and I got some tinker attention. I don't know what my notes means right now. Like, I'm reading this and I don't know what it means. So I did what I needed to do on day 74. That's what I'm gonna say. Day 75 and day 76, I set up my machine and started working towards making substrate. In order to make amber mulch, this involved a PRC, and by the end of the day, I had succeeded in making enough substrate to make my amber mulch. 2 days it took. 2 days. The next 2 days was again about mulch, but this time I would need a machine that could collect fertilizer from animals. I think I had started this on day 76, really, but because I don't have the footage, this is what you're getting. Day 78 was all about mulch, like the past 3 days, but also about infirmium, can't say that, apparently, essence. I set up this little area a while ago, but had decided to commit so that I would actually be able to get Superium quite easily. On day 79, I just dedicated the whole day to more Inferium. I didn't know Infirmi, I can't say it. I didn't know it'd take this much of my attention, but here we are. I know there is a way to automate this, but at this stage I didn't really need to. It was just about, building up to tier 6 seed and to start collecting it in the background when I can, because I wasn't really focused on it as of yet. Day 80, we went back to mulch, because, could never let that go. Instead of changing all the bonsais, I decided this time I would just look at changing the bonsais that I required more of, so iron and coal, for example. If necessary, I would get round to changing some others, but for now this was perfectly suitable. Instead of trying to make 20 odd brown mulches, I would just make what I could make and use it for what was more important to use it for. Day 81, I was all about solar power. I needed a source of energy that didn't cost much, and that was always collecting, at least in the daytime. Day 82 was the last day I would work on mulch. I finally had got the hardest materials for this journey and was able to get some brown mulch. I gave it to my iron and coal saplings. Honestly, they were the most deserving. I also realized that in day 80, I said I had brown mulch. I guess I was working towards brown. My notes are terrible, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Anyway, the next day was just one of those days I got random non-important things done, and the only major turnout is that I made a mattock, which it's useful for sure. Day 84, nothing interesting really happened like usual. I was picking random achievements here and there. The main thing I did was put a cow in a bottle because, that's not barbaric at all. Day 85, I made a chicken blow up and it became a cow egg, cause science. I didn't know what to expect at first, and I started building this little enclosure for the chicken. It turns out things happen very differently. Just some context, you can make a DNA swab a mob of your choosing, make some chicken feed with that DNA swab, and boom, quite literally, you have a cow egg. That was the most interesting thing about the day. Day 86, I gave some more attention to the Infirmium farm, I still can't say it, and decided that I hadn't defeated any impressive mobs. The closest you could say was the glitch, but he was a one-hit, so I decided to build a house with a house. That's what this says, a house with a house. I'm gonna assume maybe it was a typo, but I'm using Word, so it wasn't. I was working on building a wither house and figured that I would try and beat him before day 90, so I was working really tirelessly to get this house done. The best way to defeat a wither on Skyblock so he doesn't completely eradicate your base is to make a wither house using reinforced obsidian. Reinforced obsidian is absolutely wither-proof. He will not be able to power through it. The best way I felt to make a reinforced obsidian was to throw some obsidian and iron amber into a smeltery and let it mix. Day 87 to 89 was what I was doing most of the days, to be honest. It was spent smelting and building, and eventually I felt like I had built this little house that would house the wither without escaping. If you build it too small, the wither can just pop right out. And if you build it too big, you might not be able to reach him. So I think I had the perfect ratio. And then quite quickly the main task became defeating it. Honestly, with the weapons I had, the wither was no match for me, and I defeated him quite easily. I was so confident and had enough heads that I defeated him a second time. end of the day, I spent it reworking my storage space and started to trade out shipments and storage crates for filing cabinets. My biggest mistake. I learned about these very late, but the folders you use are unlimited and are outright the best system for collecting all the bonsai items we need. Just a heads up, there's also a filing cabinet advancement that you have to put like 1 million of something, of anything, into one of these files, and that's the advancement, but I think it might be glitched. I'm not too sure. I haven't got there yet. The next 2 days, or I guess 3 days, day 90 to 92, was mainly about the storage. I didn't want to start this transfer yet, as I knew it would take some time, but I decided to do it anyway, because why not? So the whole of day 90 and some of day 91 was dedicated to this effort. I also decided to start the animal cropping achievement. This was the last thing I needed to do to finish off my 3rd tab, so I was motivated to get it done. I would need a lot of corn, as the bulk of this involved trading corn for the relevant animal seed and planting it. On day 92, I was doing much the same with animals and planting them, but also decided to veer off just a little bit to make the hunting dimensions cake and the twilight cake. I had been playing through the days for quite a while now, and I think my computer system was like, I had enough, I need a break, because I wasn't making any progress on the achievements. For none of the animals, for the cake, I had planted everything. I had made both cakes and nothing was popping up. I also had visited the hunting dimension and I didn't get the cake in my inventory to send me back home. So at this point, I felt like it was best for me to take a break in real life, log off, and come back to fight another day. When faced with slight technical difficulties, you tend to take things a little bit slower and be a little bit more cautious. I logged back in after taking a break to edit all the footage I had accumulated at this point, and was a little bit scared, to be honest, to know what would happen, but thankfully everything was working again. I had loaded in the Twilight Zone and was given an overworld cake that I hadn't got on day 92. This meant the achievements were working also. So everything we did yesterday, unfortunately, in terms of the animal cropping, we had to do it again. But it did mean that Age of Farming could be complete within these 100 days. So I started working on animal farming again, this time with the hope everything I did would count. The first step was to get corn so I could trade them for the relevant animal seeds. I grew some pigs, some rabbits, and some penguins. This wolf, I had cornered him off to protect the other animals. But then I had made some llamas, and they were just being really cruel to him, and they were spitting at him, so I killed the llamas. But then I felt really bad about having this wolf just cornered off, just angry all the time. So I thought that maybe I should put him down. After running around and remaking some animals, I then moved on to making the aggressive mobs by making seeds. I don't know if you could trade for them, but making them was fairly easy, so I figured I'd go that route. And by making, I mean crafting, just if you're a little confused. Growing and making these would fall into day 94, where I would make spiders, blaze, slimes, zombies, creepers, llamas, which I had to do again and learn from the first time. Like I said, they were spitting at my wolf. They're troublemakers, I tell you, and they deserve to be with the aggressive mobs anyway. I made magma cubes, endermen, and villagers. I wrote in my notes that I didn't believe I would finish it in time, but just like that, I ended up finishing it before I entered day 95. I was able to complete Age of Farming. And even though I had already won, I hadn't made the Guardians yet, but I decided to do that and kill them anyway. Day 95, I realized that maybe I could push for 50% of the tabs in completion. I decided to aim for Age of Storage. Unfortunately though, I wasn't able to get that done. Even though I did meet a bunch of advancements, some of them just weren't gonna be completed before 100 days. So, we move on to 96. I took a trip to the Twilight Forest. I know this place is filled with mobs that are just terrible. And even though I managed to land in between a bunch of trees, because thanks for that random obsidian platform in the sky, there is an unlocking system in place, so I wasn't able to explore much, but I did defeat the Naga. 97, my storage system was off, so I basically fixed it and decided to spend some time with the whatever seeds. I did the green essence things. 98, I continued on my path to upgrade these seeds, get it to level 6, and once I did that, I kept duplicating it just to fill in the patch that I had made. Day 99, 1 day away from the big 100. I chose to spend all my time making a watchtower extension from my base. I felt like it was just important to have a place that I can run to if I'm ever in danger or just wanted to take a break. A high point to look over my village. This 100-day challenge was probably the hardest achievement I have grinded for whilst being on YouTube, and I have a greater respect for every 100-day video that exists, and obviously Luke the Notable for setting off this amazing trend. I'm very excited to get to 200 days, and I feel like I have so much to level up. Right now, I have this piece of flat land that I should start elevating, changing my trial arena to a actual arena, changing my wood building blocks to something more flashy, more expensive. And on that note, if you guys get this video to, I have 20 subscribers right now, so if you get this video to 20 likes, one for each subscriber that currently sits at my channel, the first thing that I would do into into 200 days is change my entire platform from this wood mess to either obsidian or iron. You guys can choose, and down below the option is yours. Now that the world, or I would just say UK, has opened up again, it does mean I am back to work, so my time is a little bit more limited, but I do have a Project Ozone 3 part series that I have completed because I'm all about quests that you guys can watch if you want to, and I will be starting a Pokemon part series that I've already started. I don't know why I said it like I haven't started yet, but you guys can watch that and let me know what you think. However, for now, thank you so much for watching this video. And for day 100, let us rest. Let us reflect. Let me try and see what editing skills I have to give you this B-roll of what was done in this 100 days and the potential and growth that I am looking to push and find for the next. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.